Time for Night Court. A new class action lawsuit here in New York City seeks to shut down the Big Apple's Open Restaurants program. This is the outdoor dining initiative implemented to help keep eateries afloat during the COVID-19 pandemic. The suit claims that all these outdoor dining facilities are now causing excessive noise, traffic, and garbage, and making it difficult to navigate the city's streets and sidewalks. So let's have an argument with tonight's Legal Eagles, civil rights attorney Robert Patillo and criminal defense attorney David Bruno. Gentlemen, welcome back. Let's get right to it.
Always a pleasure.
Okay,
Thanks, Shannon.
Exhibit A, this is from the lawsuit. The people say increase in excessive noise, traffic congestion, garbage, uncontrolled rodent populations, which, if I'm being fair, that was already going on in New York, but I digress. The blocking of sidewalks and roadways causing petitioners and others to be unable to safely navigate the city's streets and sidewalks, and a diminution of available parking upon which some of the petitioners depend. David, these things are taking up a lot of space.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, look, I'm for the businesses here. Why? Because first and foremost, the most important thing is that City Council in New York just passed legislation in February. It was a 43-6 vote to allow this to be mandatory and forever. However, there's got to be guidelines. And I know what Robert's going to say, and I agree. You can't have trash out there. There's got to be the appropriate cleanup and everything. So I think it stays with the caveat, there needs to be guidelines.
Well, that takes us to Exhibit B, because the restaurateurs here in New York say, and you know, many of them didn't make it. They had to close, but many of them said these outdoor structures allowed them to survive. Here's the headline: 91% of New York City restaurants say permanent outdoor dining is very important to future survival as well. It says the program saved an estimated 100,000 industry jobs, and 8 in 10 restaurant owners worry they'll have to lay off workers if it's not made permanent, according to the New York City Hospitality Alliance. So, Robert, they voted. They're not going to move forward with this, but they say we couldn't have survived, but it's also a future thing. Like, we need this to be able to keep going and keep people employed.
Well, you know, it was a great program during the pandemic, but back in those early days when none of us knew exactly what was going on, we were spraying Lysol on our carrots and on our bananas from the grocery store. But look, as with all the other pandemic era programs, this one has to sunset, because at the end of the day, you're taking public property, public sidewalks, public streets, public parking spaces, and transferring them to businesses as basically low rent outdoor extensions. And the public did not get an opportunity to have input on this. It's for the sole benefit of these companies, and from just a simple public policy point of view, it is inviting more trash, more vagrancy, more vermin in the area. I don't think that without the proper oversight, this can go forward. It can't just be a free-for-all, destroying the quality of life for people in these communities.
Well, one of the arguments that folks have against this is Exhibit C. This is also from the lawsuit. It says there's actually no public health emergency, they say, in New York City anymore. So there's no existing regulatory infrastructure in place to respond to any such emergency. They say, listen, the worst of this is over. It's time for this stuff to go. I'll give you both a quick final word, David, to you, and then Robert.
Look, yeah, there's less intrusive ways to do this, like setting a curfew or regulating against trash and things like that. Look, it's a need, and businesses needed it. Businesses are going to need it in the future as well. I think we got to come to a middle ground and make it work somehow.
Robert?
Look, if you want to have an extension and outdoor seating to your restaurant, pay for it. But the idea of taking sidewalks away from people who are trying to walk, taking lanes of traffic away from drivers, taking parking away from people without public input, I don't think that is in the best interest of public policy. And without the right code enforcement to make sure that things are being held up to standard, I don't think it's a tenable system currently.
I'm going to go check it out. Not tonight, but tomorrow during the day. Robert and David, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
All right, some good news.